Good evening, Philippines. Tonight, we will having a reflection about Balangiga massacre during the American colonization in our country. The said massacre, whose Battle of Balangega was on September 28, 1901 in Eastern Samar in the Philippines. Tonight, a big revelations of the real story behind why and how this bloody massacre happened during Philippines and American War. Century ago, the residents of Balangiga town of Samar and the U.S. infantry regiment had a good relationships. According to historians, relations went downhill after two American soldiers allegedly tried to molest a Filipino woman tending a store. When locals came to the woman's defense, the soldiers wanted revenge. Since then, people Balangiga were subjected to forced labor and detention with only little food and water. The locals also protested the move of the U.S. garrison to cut food and other supplies in the town. Balangiga Police Chief Valeriano Abanador, along with guerrilla officers Captain Eugenio Daza and Sergeant Pedro Duran and Sergeant Flatted, the revolution against America. As a historian said, Stuart Miller in his book Benevolent Assimilation, Balangiga men disguised as women had weapons inside the small caskets which were brought to the church under the pretext that a cholera epidemic had killed many children. Reinforcement from neighboring towns also entered Balangiga several days before the attack under the guise of preparations for a fiesta.
The massacre was executed on September 28, 1901, during the supposed funeral procession for children killed by cholera. Abanador initiated the first strike by shooting an American senator after chatting with him. The charge of Balinaga ringed bell signing the start of attack. The men dressed as women pulled out their weapons, mainly machetes, and attacked the U.S. troops. Locals also headed to Barak to attack unsuspecting American soldiers. At least 48 out of 78 American soldiers were killed during the surprise attack. General Jacob Smith vowed that he would turn the town into howling wilderness, earning him the nickname Howling Jay. As he said, "I want no prisoners. I wish you to kill and burn. The more you kill and burn, the better it will please me. I want all persons killed who are capable of bearing arms in actual hostilities against the United States, Smith said. Smith's remarks became even more infamous when he instructed his men to kill everyone over 10. Soldiers are also burned and looted a village in Balanaga. The killings did not end there as US continued to enforce a scorched earth policy until 1902, which meant the total destruction of the town and its people.
There's no exact estimate on the number of Filipinos killed. Some researchers have previously said that around 2,000 were killed during the duration of the massacre. Recent study by the Balangiga Research Group found that most soldiers countermanded the kill and burn order, which meant that some soldiers refused to claim innocent lives and resorted only to destruction of homes and livelihood.
The Americans brought home the church bells of Balingaga as trophies of war. Two are under custody of U.S. troops in Trophy Park of the Francis E. Warren Air Force Base in Yuming, while the other is with the U.S. military unit in South Korea. The Philippines has been asking for the return of the bells as early as 1958, when Jesus Chris Horacio de la Costa wrote a letter to American military historian Chief Ward seeking help for this purpose. However, our previous President Fidel Ramos was the first Philippine president to negotiate the return of bells with us U.S. President Bill Clinton, who agreed to the request, but the return was stalled due to an apparent conflict in U.S. military laws.
That is why I say today, give us back those Balingiga bells. They are ours. They belong to the Philippines. They are part of our national heritage. Isauli naman ninyo. Masakit yon sa amin.
In his 2017 State of Nation address, President Rodrigo Duterte asked the U.S. to return the bells as they are reminders of the gallantry and heroism of our forebears who resisted American colonizers and sacrificed their lives in the process. On August 11, 2018, the U.S. Embassy in Manila announced that the U.S. Defense Department had notified the U.S. Congress of the intention to return the bells to the Philippines, but no date had been set. The return of bells needs congressional concurrence.
And after decades and a century, the bells have finally returned home the places which is the Philippines.
Audio Jungle.